Peeps, listen, I thought, with the international break, upon us again so soon, I said, you know what, let's dive back into a top 10, right? So ranking top 10 players in, every position. So of course we're going to start off with the goalkeeper position. So when we're looking at the top 10, right? These are the top 10 players in that position. But more importantly, these are my top 10 players in these positions. So, of course, obviously, today we're doing the goalkeeper one, but I wanted to just make it clear. So, it's not about just last season. This is not based off of last season solely. This is, in my opinion, if you ask me today, who are the best goalkeepers in world football, these are my 10 players. So obviously we're going to run through that, and I'd love for you guys to let me know in the comment section, who do you think are the top 10 goalkeepers? Of course, this is going to be a little segment, obviously, during the international break, where I will go through goalkeeper, for today's video. Then the next video should be the fullbacks, then centre backs. Then we'll move on to the midfield. Then we'll go on to wingers, and then we've got strikers thereafter. And I might have a little surprise come at the end of it as well. So, as I said before, let me know your top 10 goalkeepers. This one was probably one of the more difficult ones for me, if I'm being honest with you, because goalkeepers is not my area of expertise. So, there might be some in there that I've maybe missed out. And listen, maybe I've just not seen them enough to be able to rank them. So, don't get too bogged down with it. But I just felt like this would be a little good discussion during the international break, and then we can kind of get right to it. So, without further ado, let's start off with number 10. Martinez. Emi Martinez. This is the guy who's won 2 Yashin trophies, best goalkeeper in Europe award, almost like the Ballon d'Or for goalkeepers, or probably is actually seen as the Ballon d'Or for goalkeepers. I, I only put him in there, right, purely because of the 2 Yashin trophies. He did have a period, I would say, during maybe between his first and second Yashin trophy, because I don't feel like he warranted getting the second one. I didn't feel like he was the best goalkeeper in Europe at that time. So I didn't really feel like he should have won it, but he won it anyway. So I have to kind of give him the credit for that. He has been a good goalkeeper for Aston Villa. Has obviously recently, I wouldn't say so much, if I'm being honest. And to be honest, it's probably, I would be real and maybe even say in the last 18 months, I've kind of looked at him and thought, nah, you're not that good. You had your period, you had your time, right? There was a moment, you get what I'm trying to say, where Aston Villa was, starting to do really, really well, moving up the league, getting into the Champions League. You helped massively towards that. So I thought, okay, yeah. Now he is a good goalkeeper. I'm not going to sit and say he's not, but he's not up there anymore. I may have ranked him higher. Now you guys will probably remember I did do a top 10 rankings before. So whether or not he's moved up or down, I just feel like at this moment in time, if I had to place it, and I'll be real, we had other goalkeepers I did think about, Juan Garcia, who's now obviously at Barcelona. I feel like they're the same level, but he maybe hasn't done it as consistently as maybe a Martinez, obviously being at Espanyol. So I give it to Martinez just because, but I could have put Juan Garcia, in there instead. So that's who I've got for him now. But listen, I mean, winning 2 Yashin trophies, clearly you're doing something right. You're doing something where people think, okay, well, this guy must be a top goalkeeper. So yeah, I'd have to big him up for that in itself. But yeah, I've got him in at number 10. Number 9, Una Simon, Athletic Bilbao goalkeeper. I think in the last 2 seasons, I think he's really improved. I didn't really feel like he was that good before, and really, if I'm being honest, the Euros kind of made me change my mind a bit. I was like, no, he is actually a really good goalkeeper. And then last season for Athletic Bilbao, I thought he was really good. I really, really did. I think he kind of stepped up, in my personal opinion. I believe Athletic Bilbao had the best defensive record in the league as well. Again, thanks to in part Unai Simon in goal. So yeah, I've got him in at number 9. Obviously you can see everyone's individual kind of awards that they've won. I mean, he was the La Liga Revelation Team of the Year in 1920, Team of the Season in 23-24, La Liga Zamora Trophy the same year, Men's UEFA Team, for the 2024 Euros as well. So listen, man, he's done his thing. And like I say, it's really been in the last couple of years where he's really kind of gone up a level, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, I've got him in just ahead of Emi Martinez. Martinez, number 7, Gregor Kobel. You see him, yeah? Borussia Dortmund keeper. I give him high ratings. I can't lie. For Dortmund anyway, right? And obviously Switzerland too. But for Dortmund, in the last couple of years, I feel like I don't know what it is because it seemingly I don't want to say only that's unfair. In the Champions League, I feel like he's always performed pretty decently in there. I'm not saying he's not a goalkeeper, has 1 or 2 mistakes in him. And to be fair, all goalkeepers seem to have that. You know, it just seems like it's just within their makeup, right? No one's perfect. But yeah, with him, I don't know, his shot stopping is good. Like, in my opinion, anyway, I think it's really, really good. And I think for a team like Dortmund to have a goalkeeper of this kind of level, you know, as long as they can get a better defense over time, depending on, of course, how long he decides to stay there, I feel like they can get a pretty good team, a pretty decent team, you know, to kind of move forward. And I just think with him, he's just a good shot stopper. That's one of like what I say the main things when I look at someone like, you know, Gregor. Like, he's just a good shot stopper. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say I feel like he's excellent with the ball at his feet, but I mean, that in itself, you'd have to be, for me to rank you higher, you'd have to be of an Edison type of level, really and truly, and then I would think about it. But listen, in terms of just being a goalkeeper, I think he's really, really good. Looks like he's a goalkeeper who can command his area pretty decently as well. He can always, like I said, he can always pull off that kind of wonder save, which I've seen him do a couple of times in both Champions League and Bundesliga for Borussia Dortmund. So yeah, man, I felt like I had to give him his, you know, his flowers, if I'm being totally honest with you. And listen, look, Bundesliga team of the season twice, Athletic Bundesliga team of the season, UEFA Champions League team of the season. This ain't no mug. Do you know what I'm saying? This is actually a goalkeeper who has actually improved and also really started to. I feel like more teams around Europe are starting to take notice of a goalkeeper, you know, like him. So big up to him. And I've got him in that position. Speak of the devil, Edison, man. He's next up. I put him here in this position, right? And when I look at someone like Edison, right, you think, okay, he's better than a Martinez who had in 10th. He's better than Unai Simon, who's obviously in 9th, and then obviously Gregor in 8th. I've got Edison in this position purely because I just think over time, in the last few years anyway, when I've looked at him, I've just kind of said, yeah, you're the best goalkeeper on this list. And you can probably guess there's a few, obviously the ones that we've got coming up, right? On this list, you are the best ball playing goalkeeper on the list. I don't actually think there's anyone even close to you in terms of ball playing. That's where you excel. And this is what I said about, you know, Gregor in terms of, I won't say he was the best in terms of the ball at his feet, but his goalkeeping, in my opinion, I feel like his goalkeeping was just a little bit better. But only when we are looking at these kind of things, if we're talking about someone like an Edison, I'll keep it a buck. I feel like with someone like Edison, he's so good with the ball at his feet that it's almost like player-like, right? He's almost like an outfield player. So that in itself is going to enhance you. Obviously, you've not been a muck. You've been winning individual awards. You've been successful with Manchester City. You've been a big part of why Manchester City have also been successful. So I almost couldn't discredit everything that you've kind of done. And of course, I'm not just looking at this in a vacuum of, oh, only last season or whatever kind of thing. This is just really how I've looked at it over a period of time, right? And I think you still warrant being in a decent position, but I won't put you in like a top 3 anymore, if I'm being totally honest. I think those kind of stages, and obviously now he's left Manchester City as well, but I do look at him and think, yeah, maybe not now. I wouldn't say you're a top 3, top 4 goalkeeper at this moment in time. You may be able to get back there. I don't know. But at this moment in time, I feel like he would have just knocked down a few of the pegs just a little bit, But listen, I've got Edison there. Next up, Jan Oblak. I feel like he's one of those goalkeepers, right, that just have to enter these kind of lists. He just has to be there. Like, it's just one of those. He's been a top goalkeeper for years, like a decade at least. Man. Like, he's been obviously dope that he's been at Atletico Madrid for this amount of time. Won trophies, individual awards. You know, I believe He's got some record about Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi saving their penalties or something like that. He has just been one of the best goalkeepers of the last decade, easily. Easily, 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 easily. In the last couple of years, obviously he's getting a bit older, but even in the last couple of years, it's almost been like, you know what? Sometimes I do think, yeah, when you think about rankings, when you think about players, sometimes you almost forget players like this purely because they've been around for so long. They've been at the top level for so long. You almost forget. It's like when obviously the new shiny toy comes into play. So all of a sudden now you're like, oh, maybe this guy or maybe that guy kind of thing. I almost feel like he gets kind of pushed away a bit, but he's still a top goalkeeper. Still, like, as in Atletico Madrid do not need to sign another goalkeeper unless he gets injured for a long period of time or he gets older. And even then, I'm like, the age thing with goalkeepers, as long as they're agile enough, they can kind of keep going and going until their late 30s. I feel like he's going to be one of them goalkeepers that might just stay at Atletico Madrid for the rest of his career. Been there for so long, probably got kids or whatever it is. So his life is kind of set up there in Spain. Don't think he needs to move. But if anybody was to sign him, you'd be signing a top goalkeeper regardless. Do you know what I mean? Like if there was if like there was a new team with money, right? Like let's say there was like a new Manchester City or a new PSG or just one of them kind of teams, right? Just on the up and up, but they've got money, right? If you could buy someone like him as let's get this guy as like a marquee goalkeeper signing, yeah, you wouldn't be going wrong at all, in my personal opinion. But listen, man, Jan Oblak, I think he's a top goalkeeper, and that's why I've got him there in the list. Jan Sommer is next up, man. Jan Sommer, I think he's quite underrated. And when I say that, I'm talking, I underrated him. I'll be honest with you. I have underrated him actually for years. If I'm being totally honest with you, it's only been in the last couple of years. And again, speaking to people and, people who have watched him for such a long time, when he was in the Bundesliga, obviously here at, Inter Milan as well, I just feel like I never really rated him. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I don't know. I don't know. I think, when you just focus purely on, let's say, like the top three goalkeepers out there, they're all playing for like the top teams and stuff like that. He hasn't always played for the top teams. Only now at Inter Milan, who are obviously one of the better teams in Europe, got to the Champions League final last season as well. He was massive towards that. The clean sheets that he obviously kept, the least, I think it was the least amount of goals anybody conceded, all that kind of stuff, was all Jan Sommer. Let me not say that. Jan Sommer helped towards that, shall I say, right? And I feel like with his individual awards that he's obviously won, he's been in the Swiss, Super League Team of the Year, Bundesliga Fantasy Team of the Year, Serie A Team of the Season, Serie A Team of the Year. When he obviously won the league with Bayern Munich when he was back there, didn't really play too much, but obviously got that. He's won the Italian Serie A as well, Supercoppa Italia, obviously Champions League runner-up, Switzerland UEFA under 21 runner. Like he's got the awards to kind of show like, no, listen, I've been doing my thing. He's another goalkeeper who obviously not of the level I would say in terms of as much as I've got him ahead of a Jan Oblak, I would say that's probably just been pushed more in the last couple of seasons where I think he's performed better than a Jan Oblak. I would say that much. That's probably why I've got him ahead. It's more you've performed better in the last couple of seasons, whereas Jan Oblak has always kind of been at his level, right? But in the last couple of seasons, I would say he's between these two. It was like you've just maybe I don't like saying it. You just got maybe a level below what Jan Sommer's been doing in the last couple of seasons, kind of thing. And I'll be honest, man, the Champions League runs, they do help. They really, really do help because obviously that's the kind of moment you look at a goalkeeper and you kind of say, yo, okay, he's really, really doing his thing, in key moments, kind of thing. So yeah, man, I've got him just, and I do mean just. If I had to do a point system, it would have been 100 points for Jan Sommer and 98, 99 for Jan Oblak. Like if you said to me in the comment section you were swapping the two, I wouldn't argue with that. I really wouldn't. But I've just got him just ahead of Jan Oblak. But these things can always change, man. These things can always change. Donnarumma. Now we're getting into the really good stuff. Top three. This is a top three goalkeeper. He is in the last couple of seasons, right? And to be fair, last season pushed his power rankings, if you want to call it that, or the G rankings. Well, I don't know. We'll think about it. But his rankings last season really did shoot up, right? He's one of them goalkeepers. On his day, he is a top three goalkeeper. And I think on his day, he's as good as Allison, Couture, all of those guys. I think he's as good as those on his day. Unfortunately for him, he's also a goalkeeper where I'm like, you don't have that day often enough. That's the problem. Now, again, this could all change. Listen, this is in the next 6 months when we do another one, or a year when we do the next one, this might all change. But I look at you now and I'm like, that you are a top goalkeeper. You blatantly are. Like, I've seen you in games and I've seen you win games by yourself just because of what you've done in goal, right? But you don't have those games often. Do you know what I mean? Now, obviously, he's now moved to Manchester City. Maybe this can obviously help towards that. And I think it potentially could, because of the type of goalkeeper that he is. He isn't the best ball playing goalkeeper. No way, Jose. I think he's actually kind of pants with the ball at his feet. But he's a goalkeeper. At the end of the day, that's what he's there to do. He's been around since been around. I promise you. AC Milan, young goalkeeper, young Italian goalkeeper. I thought, right, this guy is really going to rival Buffon for like the title of like the best ever Italian goalkeeper, kind of thing. Hasn't really quite lived up to that. And like I said, he did have a few years where I was a little bit like, you're moving a bit anti. You're moving a bit anti at this current moment in time, but he is still a top goalkeeper. Really, really. I mean, you can see all the individual awards he's obviously won throughout his career. That's by no accident. Yes, all the goalkeepers have got bozo moments. He's also had them in the past, but he's also been top quality as well. So yeah, it's one of those with Donnarumma, man. You don't win, you don't get named in the UEFA Championship team of the tournament. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like UEFA Championship player of the tournament. Yeah, this in 2020, that's 5 years ago. Do you get what I'm saying? Like he has, this is what I'm saying. He has these periods where for a season here or a season there or whatever, he's just the best. Like he's just unstoppable in goal, and he's got this massive frame about him, like where you just think, bro, we can never score past you. Like you're so big, I just can't score past you. And I think that obviously helps towards him being a goalkeeper, winning the Champions League, of course, last season. Again, like I said, boosted his power rankings up, but in general, when you actually deep it, he's been around for so long and he's been good for a good, like he is good, regardless of the bozo moment. He's a good goalkeeper anyway, but he's also had seasons where you've been the best, or you've performed at a higher level than, say, other goalkeepers who might be ranked higher than you. The only difference is they've been consistent. That's where I look at, someone like Donnarumma. But listen, man, to be in that kind of top four, top three, I think it's a pretty good placement, pretty good place. In third, now, this one is funny. Unfortunately, he's at Arsenal, right? And Arsenal don't win anything. So his individual awards list weren't too great in terms of, well, his individual awards list is obviously here, but in terms of just the honors and stuff like that, he don't really have that many. But he's one of those guys, not as good before anybody gets too excited. But it's like, how Harry Kane would have bare individual awards, but no team trophies. I look at him almost like that. I'm like, yeah, you don't have no team trophy. Like the rest of these guys have all won numerous amounts of things with their clubs. Some because of the clubs that they've obviously played for in the past, but just in general, they've been able to win stuff. You are actually a good goalkeeper, though. He is, I would say, in my opinion, he is the best blend of the goalkeeper, of a modern day goalkeeper. He's a fantastic shot stopper. He's brilliant with the ball at his feet. And I feel like you need that kind of mix. Like I say, he's won 2 Premier League Golden Gloves. Yes, one was obviously shared, but he's won 2 of those already. PFA Team of the Year, Championship Golden Glove as well, back in 1920 with Brentford. I'm telling you now, David Raya is a top goalkeeper. One of the best goalkeepers, in my opinion, in world football. Easily. Easily one of the best goalkeepers. And I think he's better than everybody else I've named on this list. For different reasons, of course. They're all top goalkeepers in their own right. But I just feel like he has the best blend, in my personal opinion, where they're good at both ends of things, and they're pretty good at both ends of things. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that really for him, you could add the team awards, but really in the next couple of years, with Allison getting older, Couture getting older, Couture's always injured, Allison gets his injuries and stuff like that, I think he'll surpass them very soon. Like, and I probably mean, maybe, let's say if we do this video this time next year, September/October of 2026, you may be talking about he's potentially surpassed them. He's so consistent, man. He's so consistent. And for Arsenal to have him in goal, especially when they had Ramsdale before, right? And this is a massive upgrade, for Arsenal in goal. They know they don't really have to. Goalkeeper's one of the positions. If you've got a top goalkeeper, you're good. You ain't worried about, I need to. No, you're good. You literally just need a second goalkeeper who's competent enough. Do you know what I mean? Reason why they've got Kepa, someone who, he can come in, do cup games, and we're good. We can rest the goalkeeper and this, that, and the third, right? But they will miss him if he was to be injured. He's one of those, like, you'll notice the gap between him and Kepa, as an example. So, yeah, man, big up to Raya. I do think he is a top 3 keeper in the world. Second, we got Courtois, though, man. We got Courtois. I don't feel like anything needs to really be said about him. I think we all know who he is. In terms of just awards in itself, he's probably the Don Dada out of all the other goalkeepers. Again, he's another goalkeeper who's been around since been around. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's been around for so long that, like, again, you almost forget, bro, he's been a top 3 goalkeeper for at least 10 years, I would say. If I'm thinking about it. Yeah, maybe, you know what? He's been a top 5 goalkeeper for 10 years. I'll stretch it because in the last 10 years, Manuel Neuer, Black was at his prime and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say he's been a top 5 goalkeeper for 10 years. He's been a top 3 goalkeeper for at least 5 years, if not potentially longer. But I'll say 5 years minimum. He's been the third best at minimum keeper out there. And to be honest, there's been out of those 5 seasons, I would say 2 to 3 of those, he's been the best goalkeeper. Easily been the best goalkeeper. Do you know what I'm saying? But if I was just ranking him right now, 2025, been injured quite a lot in recent times, but you're still a top goalkeeper, I've just got you second. Reason why? Alisson. Number 1, Alisson. Has to be. It has to be Alisson, bro. Like, and I'm not even trying to be biased. You guys know I'm not a biased person at all, like in the slightest. You know what I mean? I don't do that. Do you know what I mean? But when I think of goalkeepers, Alisson has to be the number 1 goalkeeper. He has to be the number 1 goalkeeper. You know, I mentioned about David Raya having that mix and blend. I think David Raya is better with the ball at his feet than Alisson. 100%. I think Edison is better with the ball at his feet than Alisson. After that, I'd probably say Alisson probably is the third best, give or take, right? Maybe you might throw someone else in there, but I'll say just off top of my head, I'll probably say Alisson would be like the third best in terms of ball at his feet. You see, shot stopping and saving. Nah, I don't think there's anyone better. I don't personally think. I think Donnarumma's good. I think Courtois. I think they're all good. I think they're all in their own right. They're really, really good. But you see, Alisson, he is the unicorn at times. When I think about goalkeepers, I'm like, and he's also got that mix and blend, by the way, that I was talking about with a David Raya. He's got that mix and blend. Like, he's still good, still decent with the ball at his feet. Not great, but he's decent with the ball at his feet. Competent enough anyway. But shot stopping, saving, miracle saves, picturesque saves, saving your team, bro. Alisson got that. What year was it? Was it the year that Klopp left? Was it that season? I feel like it was that season. Some of the saves that he was pulling off was ridiculous. Ridiculous. I ain't seen goalkeepers make these kind of saves. Not like this anyway. Save against PSG last season. Ridiculous. Like, yeah, nah. Alisson, honestly, without him and Virgil, and I would say, obviously, Virgil's Virgil, and Virgil's like one of the best players in the world. But without Alisson in goal, though, see when Virgil gets beat, or sometimes it's not even Virgil's fault. Virgil, it might even have nothing to do with it. It just might be one of those, like, it's a chance has just been fashioned. Alisson is constantly saving Liverpool. He has saved Liverpool more times than I can count. More times than, like, he's made it so that Liverpool probably look better than they actually are at times. Him and Van Dijk, I would say anyway. Him and Van Dijk, they've literally made Liverpool. Those two by themselves have made Liverpool look 10 times better than they actually are. Take those two out of Liverpool, I promise you now. Yeah, it'll be different conversations that we'll be having. Way different. Think Liverpool have league titles in Champions League? Myth. You're definitely myth. We'll be doing what Arsenal doing. Not really winning anything. Got a good team. Need this, need that. Yeah, no. Trust me, Alisson is vital. And for me, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. In my opinion. I just don't think there's a better goalkeeper out there than Alisson. But you guys might disagree. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think is the top 10 Goalkeepers. So let's quickly run through it. So obviously in first, we have got Allison. Second place, we've got Couture. In third, we've got David Raya. In fourth, Donnarumma. Fifth, Jan Sommer. Sixth, we have got Jan Oblak. Seventh, we have got Edison. Eighth, we've got Kobel of Borussia Dortmund. Ninth, Unai Simon. And in at number 10, we have got Emi Martinez. Let me know your thoughts, man. I really, really would like to know. Again, listen, like I said, there's I was thinking about Manuel Neuer, but he's more he's in the like the Modric mode that I call, which is I don't rank you in the top tens of anything because you're just like legendary status now. Like you've had your time. I think there are 10 at least better players than you at this moment in time, but you will always still be a legend. You probably will pull out every now and again the stops and everybody. It's going to be very rare, and I do think that players now, it's now their time. You had your period of time, like I said, like a Modric. I wouldn't rank Modric in the top 10 of anything, but I would be like, well, he is a legendary, kind of player. So you have to respect that in itself. So yeah, man. Manuel Neuer ran so these guys. No, he walked so these guys could run. Yeah. He walked so these guys could run. Have to give him his flowers. But let me know yours in the comment section, people, and I'll catch you guys for the fullback edition. Peace.